and die again. She moves away and looking down at the floor between door and couch, as though seeing something there, shudders. Covers her eyes. Goes back to the couch and down again just as before, to stare at the embers. Again she is startled by noises of the outer door being opened. She springs up, runs and turns the light by a switch close to the door. By the glimmer of the fire she can just be seen standing by the dark window curtains, listening. There comes the sound of a subdued knocking on her door. She stands in breathless terror. The knocking is repeated. The sound of a latchkey in the door is heard. Her terror leaves her. The door opens. A man enters in a dark fur overcoat. WANDA, in a voice of breathless relief, with a rather foreign accent. "Oh, it's you, Larry. Why did you knock? I was so frightened. Come in." She crosses quickly and flings her arms round his neck, recoiling in a terror-stricken whisper. "Oh, who is it?" KEITH, in a smothered voice. "A friend of Larry's. Don't be frightened." She has recoiled again to the window, and when he finds the switch and turns the light up, she is seen standing there holding her dark wrapper up to her throat, so that her face has an uncanny look of being detached from the body. Gently. "You needn't be afraid. I haven't come to do you harm. Quite the contrary." Holding up the keys. "Larry wouldn't have given me these, would he, if he hadn't trusted me?" Wanda does not move, staring like a spirit startled out of the flesh. After looking round him, "I'm sorry to have startled you." WANDA, in a whisper. "Who are you, please?" KEITH. "Larry's brother." WANDA, with a sigh of utter relief, steals forward to the couch and sinks down. KEITH goes up to her. "He told me." WANDA, clasping her hands round her knees. "Yes?" KEITH. "An awful business." WANDA. "Yes, oh yes, awful, it is awful." KEITH, staring round him again. "In this room?" WANDA. "Just where you are standing. I see him now, always falling." KEITH, moved by the gentle despair in her voice. "You look very young. What's your name?" WANDA. "Wanda." KEITH. "Are you fond of Larry?" WANDA. "I would die for him." A moment's silence. KEITH. I've come to see what you can do to save him." WANDA, wistfully. "You would not deceive me. You are really his brother?" KEITH. "I swear it." WANDA, clasping her hands. "If I can save him, won't you sit down?" KEITH, drawing up a chair and sitting. "This man, your husband, before he came here the night before last, how long since you saw him?" WANDA. 18 months. KEITH. "Does anyone about here know you are his wife?" WANDA. "No. I came here to live a bad life. Nobody know me. I am quite alone." KEITH. "They've discovered who he was. You know that?" WANDA. "No. I have not dared to go out." KEITH. "Well, they have, and they'll look for anyone connected with him, of course." WANDA. "He never let people think I was married to him. I don't know if I was, really. He went to an office and signed our names, but he was a wicked man. He treated many, I think, like me." KEITH. "Did my brother ever see him before?" WANDA. "Never. And that man first went for him." KEITH. "Yes, I saw the mark. Have you a servant?" WANDA. "No. A woman comes at 9 in the morning for an hour." KEITH. "Does she know Larry?" WANDA. "No. He is always gone." KEITH. "Friends? Acquaintances?" WANDA. "No. I am very quiet. Since I know your brother, I see no one, sir." KEITH, sharply. "Do you mean that?" WANDA. "Oh, yes. I love him. Nobody come here but him for a long time now." KEITH. "How long?" WANDA. 5 months." KEITH. "So you have not been out since?" WANDA shakes her head. "What have you been doing?" WANDA, simply. "Crying." Pressing her hands to her breast. He is in danger because of me. I am so afraid for him. KEITH, checking her emotion. Look at me. She looks at him. If the worst comes, and this man is traced to you, can you trust yourself not to give Larry away? WANDA, rising and pointing to the fire. Look, I have burned all the things he has given me, even his picture. Now I have nothing from him. KEITH, who has risen too. Good. One more question. Do the police know you because of your life? She looks at him intently and shakes her head. You know where Larry lives? WANDA. Yes. KEITH. You mustn't go there, and he mustn't come to you. She bows her head, then suddenly comes close to him. WANDA. Please do not take him from me altogether. I will be so careful. I will not do anything to hurt him. But if I cannot see him sometimes, I shall die. Please do not take him from me. She catches his hand and presses it desperately between her own. KEITH. Leave that to me. I'm going to do all I can. WANDA, looking up into his face. But you will be kind? Suddenly she bends and kisses his hand. KEITH draws his hand away, and she recoils a little humbly, looking up at him again. Suddenly she stands, rigid, listening. In a whisper. Listen. Someone out there. She darts past him and turns out the light. There is a knock on the door. They are now close together between door and window. Whispering. Oh, who is it? KEITH, under his breath. You said no one comes here but Larry. WANDA. Yes, and you have his keys. Oh, if it is Larry, I must open. KEITH shrinks back against the wall. WANDA goes to the door, opening the door an inch. Yes, please, who? A thin streak of light from a bull's-eye lantern outside plays over the wall. A policeman's voice says, All right, miss. Your outer door's open. You ought to keep it shut after dark, you know. WANDA. Thank you, sir. The sound of retreating footsteps, of the outer door closing. WANDA shuts the door. A policeman. KEITH, moving from the wall. Curse! I must have left that door. Suddenly turning up the light. You told me they didn't know you. WANDA, sighing. I did not think they did, sir. It is so long I was not out in the town, not since I had Larry. KEITH gives her an intent look, then crosses to the fire. He stands there a moment looking down, then turns to the girl who has crept back to the couch. KEITH, half to himself. After your life, who can believe? Look here, you drifted together and you'll drift apart, you know. Better for him to get away and make a clean cut of it. WANDA, uttering a little moaning sound. Oh, sir, may I not love because I have been bad? I was only 16 when that man spoiled me. If you knew. KEITH. I'm thinking of Larry. With you his danger is much greater. There's a good chance as things are going. You may wreck it. And for what? For just a few months more of, well, you know. WANDA, standing at the head of the couch and touching her eyes with her hand. Oh, sir, look, it is true. He is my life. Don't take him away from me. KEITH, moved and restless. You must know what Larry is. He'll never stick to you. WANDA, simply. He will, sir. KEITH, energetically. The last man on earth to stick to anything, but for the sake of a whim he'll risk his life and the honor of all his family. I know him. WANDA. No, no, you do not. It is I who know him. KEITH. Now, now. At any moment they may find out your connection with that man. So long as Larry goes on with you, he's tied to this murder, don't you see? WANDA, coming close to him. But he loves me. Oh, sir, he loves me. KEITH. Larry has loved dozens of women. WANDA. Yes, but... Her face quivers. KEITH, brusquely. Don't cry. If I give you money, will you disappear for his sake? WANDA, with a moan. It will be in the water, then. There will be no cruel men there. KEITH. Ah! First Larry, then you. Come now. It's better for you both. A few months and you'll forget you ever met. WANDA, looking wildly up. I will go if Larry say I must, but not to live. No. Simply. I could not, sir. KEITH, moved, is silent. I could not live without Larry, but is not for a girl like me, when she wants love. It is finish. KEITH.